Okay, so for this video, I'm going to go through a few examples just because it's best to just see all the different possibilities and kind of walk through them. Now, when we say expand, what we're saying is, here I have x plus y cubed, which means I need to take x plus y times x plus y times x plus y. And so if we do this the old-fashioned way, I'm going to take and I'm going to box out the first x plus y. We get x squared, xy, and y squared. So then that gives me x squared plus, I have two of those, 2xy plus y squared. Then I have to take that times x plus y. So I have to do a whole nother box. So I've got x plus y, I've got x squared, 2xy, and y cubed, squared, sorry. And then I go through and I got x cubed, x squared y, 2x squared y, 2xy squared, xy squared, and then y cubed. And so as I write this out, I've got x cubed. Then if I look here, I've got 3x squared y. And if I look here, I have 3xy squared. And then the last one is y cubed. Now, in the binomial coefficients video, we already talked about these numbers in front and where those come from. But now I want to talk about all of it. Where do I get all of this where I don't have to use this version to figure it out? I can do this a little bit more shorthand. So remember, for these ones here, I can get two different ways. I can use the Pascal's triangle, and just to remind you, it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1. If you don't know where I'm getting these numbers, you should watch the other video. And because this is cubed, this is a cubed problem, I'm going to use the one with the 3 at the beginning. And so that's where the 1, the 3, and the 1 come from. Okay, well, what about the rest of it? What about the x's and the y's? So I want to point out what's going on. Notice my first thing in my bubble was this x. So notice I have an x here, x here, x here. But watch what even more importantly is I start with x cubed, and that's not a coincidence, it's the same there. So I start with x cubed, then I go to x squared, then I go to x, and then there's nothing, which is basically x to the 0. So my exponents are going down by 1. Now the second thing in the bubble is a y. Notice here I start with y cubed, and as I go back to the beginning I get y squared, y, and then y to the 0. So here my exponents on the x go down by 1, but the exponents on the y are going up by 1 as I go, starting with y to the 0. So I could actually do this problem by first off saying, let's use the binomial coefficients. I could say, well, it's 3, choose 0. I'm going to have an x and I'm going to have a y. I'm going to have both of them, so I'm going to write them both. And right now I'm just going through and doing my coefficients and writing the xy. I'll come back and do the exponents in a little bit. 3, choose 2, xy, and then 3, choose 3, xy. And then I have to do my exponents. Remember, the first one starts with the 3. So I go 3, 2, 1, 0. The next one ends with the 3 and goes backwards. So I need to simplify it. If I use a calculator, 3, choose 0 is 1. I have x cubed, and then the y to the 0 is just 1, so I don't need to write that. And 3, choose 1 is 3, x squared, y. 3, choose 2 is 3, xy squared. And 3, choose 3 is 1, x to the 0 is 1, and then y cubed. And so I get the same thing as I got before, only I didn't have to do all those boxes. Okay, the other thing I want to point out, and this is really important, is these exponents will always add up to your original. So 3 plus 0 is 3, 2 plus 1 is 3, 1 plus 2 is 3, 0 plus 3 is 3. Okay, so they'll always add up to your original. Okay, let's look at another example. Here I have a number involved instead of a y, and that's going to change things a little bit, and sometimes people get confused by that. So let's go ahead and start off with my coefficients. So I've got 3, choose 0. And then I've got x and 2. These are being multiplied. That's really important. They're being multiplied. Plus 3, choose 1, x and 2. Plus 3, choose 2, x and 2. And 3, choose 3, x and 2. And then I work on my exponents. I have a 3 here, so the x starts with 3, 2, 1, 0. And then my 2 is going to go 0, 1, 2, 3. And then I always just do a little double check and make sure that they add up to 3, so I know I didn't make any mistakes. And now I figure out what these are. 3, choose 0 is 1. X cubed is x cubed. 2 to the 0 is 1. 3 choose 1 is 3. X squared, 2 to the first is 2. Now this is all being multiplied here. The only plus is the same plus that I had there. Okay, these be multiplied. 3 choose 2 is 3. X to the first, 2 squared is 4. Plus 3 choose 3 is 1. X to the 0 is 1. 2 cubed is 8. Again, all multiplied. So I should have 4 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know how many terms I should have because it always should be one more than that. Because, if you're wondering why, it's because we start with that 0 there. We have that 0 always involved. Okay, so that adds 1 more to it. And now I have to finish. 1 times 1 is 1, times x cubed is x cubed, plus. Now I have to take that 3 times the 2, so I get 6x squared, plus 3 times the 4 is 12x, plus 1 times 8 is 8. And so here's my expansion. Let's look at our next example. Okay, here I have my variable, my number, but I also have a minus, and that's going to throw a little problem in here. And this time I have a 4. Okay, so it's going to take a little more room. I'm going to do 4 choose 0, and then I have an x, and then when I do negative 2, I'm going to write in a bubble because I have to do the negative also with my exponent. Plus 4 choose 1, x and negative 2, plus 4 choose 2, x and negative 2, plus 4 choose 3, x and negative 2, plus 4 choose 4, x and negative 2. Uh-oh, I put my negative 2 down there. Okay, now I do my exponents. The x starts with the 4 and works its way down. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And the negative 2 starts with 0 and works its way up. 3 and 4. And then we start simplifying. 4 choose 0 is 1. X to the 4th is x to the 4th. Negative 2 to the 0 is 1. Plus 4 choose 1 is 4. X cubed. Negative 2 times to the first is negative 2, and we're going to have to multiply those two together next. Plus 4 choose 2 is 6. X squared, negative 2 squared is 4. Plus 4 choose 3 is 4. X to the first, and then negative 8. Plus 4 choose 4 is 1. X to the 0 is 1. Negative 2 to the 4th is a positive 16. Okay, now we have to be careful with these negatives. So I multiply this out, I get just x to the 4th. Now when I multiply 4 times negative 2, plus 6 times 4 is 24, x squared. I multiply the 4 times the negative 8, I get minus 32x. Multiply all those together, I get plus 16. And one thing I notice, and you should notice too, is it's positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. It's changing each time. So as you're doing this, you want to double check that that changed each time. And you also make sure that you multiply these together. It's not another adding problem. These get multiplied in there. Okay, let's look at another one. Okay, here we have a number with the x, and of course this changes it a little bit also. So I'm going to start writing it out. I've got 3 choose 0, and then I have 2x and then a 1. Plus 3 choose 1. I've got a 2x and a 1. 3 choose 2. I've got a 2x and a 1. And then 3 choose 3. I've got a 2x and a 1. Okay, then we have to do exponents. So for the 2x, I start with the 3 and work my way down. And with the 1, I start from 0 and work my way up. Okay, so I'm double checking a couple things here. I've got these, they add up to 3 each time. Okay, now the other thing I want to point out is when I have 2x to the third, that 3 needs to go to both of them. Because it's being multiplied, I can distribute to both of them. So we continue on. 3 choose 0 is 1. 2 to the third is 8, and then I have x cubed. And 1 to the 0 is 1. 3 choose 1 is 3. 2 squared is 4, x squared, and then 1. 3 choose 2 is 3. 2 to the first is 2 and x, and then I have 1. 3 choose 3 is 1. 2x to the 0 is 1, and 1 to the third is 1. And then we start multiplying all that together. So I've got 8x cubed plus, multiply that together, I get 12x squared, plus, multiply that together, 6x, plus, multiply that together, 1. Okay, I have 4 terms, just like I expect, because I had a third to the third power, so I expect to have one more than that. So I have 4 terms. One more example. Here I have a fraction, and of course people kind of freak out with fractions anyway. The other thing I have is I already have an exponent, so this is going to be another interesting one. So we have 4 choose 0, I have x squared, and I have 1/2. 4 choose 1, x squared, and 1/2. 4 choose 2, x squared, and 1/2. 4 choose 3, x squared, and 1/2. And then 4 choose 4, x squared, and 1/2. Okay, now I do my exponents. X squared goes to the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and 0. And the 1/2 goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, we always do our double check that the exponents add up to what they're supposed to. And then we can start simplifying. 4 choose 0 is 1. Now when you have an exponent to another exponent, we multiply, so it's x to the 8th, and then 1. 4 choose 1 is 4, and then we'll have x to the 6th times 1/2. 4 choose 2 is 6, x to the 4th, and then I'll get 1/4. 4 choose 3 is 4, x squared, and then I get 1/8. And 4 choose 4 is 1, x squared is 1, and then we get 1/16. And then we start simplifying. Put these together, we get x to the 8th. Plus, put these together, 4 times 1/2 is 2, x to the 6th. These together gives me 3/2, x to the 4th. These together gives me 1/2, x squared. And then we have 1/16 in the last one. And this one actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, like I would expect, because it's going to be one more than that. And so that's expanding.